Somewhere in the middle, Chapter 1. Quiet to the point of being sullen, new guy Roone Thorsen had pretty much ignored everyone at McAllister High since he started there 2 Mondays ago. His standoffish demeanor was daunting, to say the least, but I still said hi to him twice a day, every day, once in 4th period and again in 7th, the only times we shared classes. Why I did this, I didn't know. Maybe it was because he looked so lost, or maybe it was because I was obsessed with solutions and he clearly had issues. At any rate, while he always nodded politely in response, he never actually looked into my eyes or said anything to me. So when he unexpectedly tapped my arm during study hall on his 3rd Friday there, I slapped my hand over my mouth to hold in my startled squeal. He struggled not to laugh at my blatant overreaction. Sorry, Sayers. You know my name? I kept my words to a whisper since Coach Spencer, the teacher in charge, did not allow talking. Well, yeah, it's Evelyn Sayers, which starts with an S and is the reason you're sitting next to a Thorsen, which starts with a T. Shh. All I needed was another dang D-hall. Dad would ground me for life. What do you want? Do you have crows for physics? He whispered the words this time. Did last year. We now avoided eye contact so Coach, who kept order from behind the rows of stadium seating, wouldn't notice us. A little help, please? I flicked a glance at the 3-ring binder in his lap and recognized the simple equation he'd scribbled on one of the pieces of notebook paper in it. Only he'd gotten the thing wrong. It's distance divided by time. Roone immediately erased what he'd written and started over, slowly working his way through a couple of easy velocity problems before he stalled again. Psst. A quick check of the back of the room revealed that Coach still prowled, his attention currently elsewhere. So I peeked at Roone's notebook again. Force equals mass times acceleration. With a heavy sigh, he started erasing again. I shook my head, wondering how on earth he was going to pass physics if he couldn't correctly copy the simple formulas Mr. Groves wrote on the whiteboard. As Roone worked, I noticed he wore one of those black rubberized cause bracelets. Without thought, I reached over and turned it so I could read the words. Somewhere in the middle. That didn't ring any bells with me, the girl with causes too many to count. Roone gave me a look, probably because he was a lefty and I just nudged his writing hand. I jerked my own hand back with chagrin. That ended our hushed conversation. We parted without goodbyes when the final bell rang shortly afterward. I headed to the locker area, several students behind Roone, who was also going there. As I studied him from afar, I decided that I liked his shaggy, golden brown hair, which almost appeared highlighted. I also liked his wide shoulders, which were the only hint of his actual size besides his height, since he tended to wear loose t-shirts and baggy-style jeans that gave his body a blocky shape. As for his looks, if I'd been someone who placed value on physical appearance, I'd have said he didn't suck in that department, though he wasn't exactly the school hunk either. That meant he fell, well, somewhere in the middle. I smiled to myself since those 4 words describe me, too. From my spot as second of 3 children to my upper mid-ranking in the senior class. As for my own size and looks, I was a little on the short side, but otherwise in the middle on both scores, too. In the locker commons, Roone went one way and I went another. Just as I began turning my combination lock to open it, J.R. Winston swooped in, snatched my books from me, and set them on top of the metal locker where I couldn't reach them. His flyby was nothing new, but annoying as heck since I was way past ready to start my weekend. Go on, shrimp, J.R. gave me a smug grin. Tall and good-looking with carefully gelled hair, he thought he was a gift to the girls at McAllister High. Let's see you get them. Before I could retort, a body brushed mine from behind. I ducked in surprise as Roone, who'd come from nowhere, reached over me and retrieved the books, which he solemnly handed to me. Thanks. You're welcome. Before he moved on, he gave the guys a go-to-hell look that made them take a step back and exchange surprised glances. Kyle Hawkins, JR's buddy, waited for Roone to get out of sight before he spoke. You two have already hooked up? No, I told him. Thorsen simply has good manners, something you two wouldn't know about. Kyle thought that was hilarious. JR didn't and glared him into silence before zoning in on me. Want to hang out tonight? Brad Long's folks are out of town, so we're partying at his place. No thanks. I turned my back on them so I could finish opening the door of my locker, put up the books I didn't need, and get the ones I did. Stuffing them into my backpack, I slipped into the straps and turned to find Thing 1 and Thing 2 still standing there. You too good for us, Sayers? No, I just don't do beer bus. So we'll go somewhere else. We? Yeah, said JR. Me and Kyle and you. What's that, your take on a double date? Kyle the Joker snorted. Good one. Sigh. Sorry, but I really have to pass. My parents are home. They have plans for me. And if they didn't, we'd make some. With a wave, I left them and darted down the steps and sidewalk to the west gate of the school. A quick glance back told me they'd followed. What was it with these guys, I wondered, even though I had a good idea. Loverboy JR basked in female adoration, and my refusing to give him any apparently came off as a challenge he couldn't refuse. Even worse, he hadn't got past the tease her if you like her stage of male development. So here they were, trailing me yet again and undoubtedly thinking up more mischief. I shifted the straps of my heavy backpack and abruptly stopped to confront them. Why are you following me? Sure you're not sweet on Thorsen? JR asked, now at my left elbow. Kyle was at my right. Would a lie get rid of them? Maybe, but it wasn't worth the risk of Roone hearing it. And he would. JR and Kyle had the biggest mouths in the entire school, as in they were worse than any two girls I knew, plus Eli, my 5-year-old brother. I barely know the guy, okay? You could still be hot for him, said JR. Kyle nodded quick agreement. Well, I'm not. Yet, anyway. Any male who rescued me from those idiots would definitely deserve a spot on my watch list. If I had one, which I so didn't. Have fun at the party. Goodbye. I moved on, or tried to. JR's yanking on my backpack halted forward progress and made me stumble to keep from overbalancing. Hey! The three of us turned and found Ruth striding up, clearly pissed. Staring down my companions, who edged away, he worked my backpack off my arms and hefted it onto his shoulder via one of the straps. What's your deal, dude? What's yours? JR straightened to his full height and glared at both of us, but from a distance. Where I come from, men treat women with respect. Kyle burst into derisive laughter. Are you calling her a woman? One hard look from Roone shut him down. Where's your ride, Everly? I pointed toward the lot at the end of the sidewalk. He nodded. Go. I'm right behind you. I headed straight to my classic Trans Am, a gem of a ride my sweet grandpa had bought new in the 70s and left me when he died a year ago. To say I cherished it didn't begin to go there. I kept that vehicle as spotless as he always had, which meant it was still in perfect condition. Momentarily distracted from JR and Kyle, Roone whistled low when we got to it. This is yours? Yes, I gave him a proud smile. Lucky you. All the, what's the word? Oh yeah, classic. All the classic automobiles I see are amazing, and this one is stinking sweet. Thanks. His oddly worded compliment pleased me way more than it should have. Roone glanced over her shoulder at my hecklers, now intently watching our every move. "Will you be okay?" That made me laugh. "They're not dangerous, just hopeless rednecks. Besides, I have a black belt." I pointed to that leather accessory which I'd bought at Old Navy. Roone didn't get the joke. What they are is bullies, and I despise bullies. Couldn't argue with that. How do you like McAllister High so far? It's okay, I guess. Where are you from? Nowhere near. Guess that. I waited for more. He didn't give it to me. The silence quickly became awkward. I should go. Thanks for the rescue. I'll pay you back with study hall help anytime you need it. Roone actually smiled and gave me his full attention. Don't think I'll forget. Focused on his dimples, I didn't filter my thoughts. Actually, I'm hoping you won't. Was that shock on his face? If so, he wasn't any more shocked than me, the girl who'd sworn off guys until after graduation. But something about Roone lured me in. Since I didn't know if that was good or bad, I unlocked my car, took the backpack he handed over, and slid behind the wheel. As I left the lot, I kept my eye on the rearview mirror to see what Roone would do. He stood there watching me until I couldn't see him anymore. Naturally, I thought about him all the way home. It didn't take me long to realize there wasn't one thing I didn't like about the guy, which was unusual. Did he like anything about me? More important, why was I even wondering? For all I knew, he had a girlfriend back in nowhere near, but he'd come to my rescue twice, which counted for something, even if he was only saving the girl who could help him pass physics. Just as I unlocked the back door of my house, my cell began blasting the song I'd selected as Dana Garza's ringtone, an oldie by James Taylor called "You've Got a Friend." My BFF for the past 2 years, we were tight, as in she knew all of my secrets and I knew all of hers. "Hey, Day," I shouldered open the door, which sometimes stuck when the humidity was high, which meant most of the time. When it abruptly gave, I tumbled into the kitchen and burst out laughing. What's so funny? My amazing style and grace. Tossing my backpack onto the table, I headed straight for the fridge and the pitcher of lemonade I'd made the day before. I also snagged a bag of mini carrots. You fell again? Almost. Jeez, you're as uncoordinated as Bella Swan. Too bad you don't have an Edward in your life. Or do you? Is there anything you want to tell me? Baffled by her mental leap, I thought for a sec. No. Why? Did I see Roone Thorsen walking you to your car after school? Oh, that. Yeah, but it's not what you think. I poured myself a small glass of the ice-cold drink. Then what is it? He was just protecting me from JR and Kyle. Aw, I know, right? I was totally shocked. Why? Teddy bears are almost always more sensitive than jocks. She referred to Roone's size, of course. Could you be more shallow? I plopped down on one of the chairs and took a sip of lemonade. She groaned. Can I help it if I long to date a Channing Tatum?